Hello there.
No.
I didn't even mute it.
Hi, everyone. You just saw Moose scare the crap out of me. It is a little after 7 o'clock Confederate Standard Time, so you know what that means. It is time for your weekly episode of SCV Chat. Before we get started, as usual, the views and opinions expressed on this broadcast are not necessarily those of the SCV, its GEC, any division, brigade, camps, or other subsidiaries, strictly those of us that are expressing them. Furthermore, this show is copyrighted. No fair use. Look at you, Mouseketeers. Hope everybody's having a great week. I'm looking in the chat and I see Paul Gramling Jr., the legend, Chuck Mack, the Lone Ranger, David Pope, scrolling up, Cousin Vinny, John McLeese, AOT Commander Jimmy Hill.
Ooh.
Several others. At this point, lovely. All the way from Michigan, as usual. Hope everyone is having a great week. Hope you're safe with all the weather that came through. If you are in Dixie, I've had a very interesting day at work today, which is probably going to lead into another very interesting day at work tomorrow. Let's see what Moose sent me in the private chat. Okay. See Miss Dottie Meadows in. Hello, Miss Dottie. I hope everybody, and happy birthday to Doug Southpaw Freeman, even though he's no longer with us. Rich Garcia. Oh, and there's Miss Linda there. And Jerry Dupree from my camp, Camp 2278, going on 81 members strong and continuing to grow bit by bit. If you're ever in the Florence, Mississippi area on the second Saturday night of the month, come and swing by and say hello to us. You will see something weird. Moose, how is your Moose mug?
It's great. I got a new Christmas and SCV event mug to go along with the other one that Victor made for me. So I'm doing good. I used it the other night.
Miss Dottie, that's because he probably didn't have any other clean dishes, and he doesn't know how to do any dishes.
I know how to do them. I just didn't feel like doing them.
I see Christian in the chat. I hope everyone is having all right, Moose, we've got our first troll of the evening. Go ahead and ban that one from YouTube.
Goodbye.
Yep. Banning trolls and having fun since 2020. That was it. Yeah, 2020.
2020, yeah.
This reunion.
Yeah. Before we get started, I guess since this is a newcomer guide, we might want to explain our rules to everybody. Go ahead and I'll post them in the chat just cause. But remember that chat rules are as follows: no spamming in the chat, no swearing in the chat, no racial slurs in the chat. Act with respect for yourself and others. Respect the people on the show. No veganism for Cousin Vinny. And no fumar in the elevator. Break these rules and you'll be put in timeout. And if you continue to break them, you'll be banned. This person banned a pretty important one right off the bat.
Yes.
Hence why he was automatically banned.
So let's back up a second. Veganism is a complete sin. That is correct, Victor Smith. Veganism for everyone. No veganism at all. That's not just for Vinny. That's the Cousin Vinny rule. Anyway, the person we're just going to go ahead and address while we banned him. The person broke one of the rules. Plain and simple. They sent a comment that was completely inappropriate on another platform because we're able to stream across two platforms at once. So we just went ahead and banned them.
You can guess which rule they broke on the fact that we banned them so quickly.
Yeah. So we're just going to leave it at that and not take any more time with its, not assuming its gender identity, but we're just not going to let it take any more of our time. So we have, since we have grown so much in the past 2 years, 3 seasons, almost 100 episodes. What's our technical episode number?
We are on episode 84 for SCV Chat. Of course, this is not counting Look Around the Confederation or our live stream of events and other random live streams. To count those, we're well over 100.
Yeah, we don't count those. Chuck Mack, so do we have a delay on comments? We do have an automatic 5-second delay in between. We learned that in a fun way. We'll go into that story a little bit later. But we do have a little bit of a delay. We get comments in real time. And you forgot to put that up, Moose. We get comments in real time. Y'all hear us about 5 seconds later.
What did I forget to put up?
The follow us on Facebook and of course our Reclaiming the Narrative 1 week at a time portion. That may be a new rule, Stro Claude. Maybe a new rule. All I know is, number 1 in the nation right now, baseball. Go Balls. Anyway, so Benny. No.
Poor Vinny, man.
That's a strike, Vinny. All right, so anyway, we have had a ton of new friends and fans who have joined us since we started the show. Tons of friends and fans since we've changed platforms from over on that one streaming service to where we are now. And we figured we would give everybody a little bit of a history of SCV Chat, give y'all, try to explain some of the jokes that we've had. A lot of people think we have inside jokes. We really don't. There's just jokes from the first season, and we just wanted to, hey, there's my buddy, Kevin Winthrop on with his Go Big Orange. Exactly. So, we're going to explain some of that really quickly. And then we're going to talk about, oh, goodness gracious. We're going to do a recap of the events up at Elm Springs at the beginning of the month, which we were planning on doing last Monday night, but last Monday night was the announcement of the Kennedy twins' new attack ads and things like that. If you did not see that last week, go back and rewatch it. The Confederate Legion and Make Dixie Great Again only works if we work for it. Anyway, so rewind your clocks or your mentality back to 2020. You remember that time, Moose?
It was a fun time.
It was the best of times. It was really the worst of times. It's the year I met Moose. No, I met you in 2019. Excuse me.
Yeah, you of your first election for division commander.
Right. So let's rewind to April of 2020. At that point, there's this lovely global pandemic going around called COVID-19, and the United States was essentially in shutdown mode. At least in Mississippi, camps had stopped meeting except for Zoom. We didn't know if we'd ever, gin back up again. It was looking like a death knell. And I got on the phone with then Army of Tennessee commander, Jason Boshears, and I called him and I said, Jason, what would you think about doing a live stream Confederate Memorial service for Confederate Memorial Day? And J-Bo said, I think it's a great idea. Moose did not see the T-Rex arms. Lovely. So I called Carl Jones, I called Moose, I called Daddy Moose, and we decided that because at that time in Mississippi, you could only have like 10 people met outside at once.
Yeah.
So we decided that we would do it, and we were discussing locations of where we could do it and scheduling, and then all of a sudden, Jason said, "Why not April 26th?" Now, there's your trivia question. Why was April 26th such an important date? Okay, while we're waiting on the chat to catch up, April 26th is important because that was the day that Stephen D. Lee gave the Sons of Confederate Veterans the charge. And we decided that it was a Saturday, and we decided what better place to do it than at Friendship Cemetery at the grave of Stephen D. Lee, the man who made our organization what it is today. So we went and we did it, and the video ended up getting shared like I think it was 24,000 times.
It was a big one.
It was huge. We were not expecting that. But for 20 some odd thousand times, we were really proud of that. So we then went on a little later that summer to Raymond, Mississippi, and did another service out in Raymond. I think that was in May, close to the anniversary of the Battle of Raymond. Toured some sites there, did at the cemetery. We went then to Champions Hill or Baker's Creek and did some sites there. Past Commander-in-Chief Paul Grambling Jr. was able to make it over. Had a great time. Had a great lunch. Everybody had fun. And then we just kind of let it go from there. And we get to Florida, 2020 National Reunion in Jacksonville, and Moose and I are sitting there at the banquet. Moose had somehow conned himself into staying with me that evening. I cannot remember how that happened, but we're sitting around the banquet during the ball portion, and we're talking, and we're like, we're the youngest guys still here that don't have their parents with them. What can we do to make the SCV more marketable to people of our generation? So we talked about that and some other things, and all of a sudden, I can't remember if it was my phone or if it was Moose's phone, that got a notification for a video being uploaded onto a certain site, which we no longer speak its name.
That was me because I was very active on it on time. I was subscribed to multiple creators.
So we and I too. So like I said, that's why I can't remember if it was yours or if it was my phone, whichever one off. And then we began talking about it, and we grabbed some people over. We grabbed over a couple of young guys, pitched the idea to them. We grabbed Candyman, we grabbed past Commander-in-Chief Chuck McMichael. We grabbed brand new Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney. I mean, literally brand new, just got sworn in 5 minutes ago.
Oh yeah.
We grabbed several others, and we talked about it, and we got a blessing to y'all figure it out and let it go. Went and pitched the idea to the GEC at their retreat a couple weeks later. They said, have at it. And we started. And we started on the evil platform, which shall not be named. And we kind of did our thing on there for a while. That's where we met Cousin Vinny.
We did that from July till November. No, we did it till December.
We
created Facebook in November, though.
And it grew and it grew. And when we at the time we were like, yeah, we're getting 40 viewers. Yeah, we're getting 60 viewers. It was just slowly growing, but we were excited about that. Not saying that we're not excited now, but we were really pumped up and everything. And then one week when we went up to we took our first SCV chat remote live from the museum on the anniversary of the Battle of Franklin. and we post our first live videos here on Facebook, or there on Facebook if you're watching on YouTube. And we were on our way back, and suddenly we get a notification saying that the other site that we were using at the time was banning the display of the Confederate battle flag. And we immediately decided, no.
Yeah.
We're out. We began, this was like on a Tuesday. We began scrambling and going crazy and testing things and signing up for different stuff we still get emails from, until we finally found StreamYard on a Thursday. I set up the account, did a couple of tests, had Moose, log in. We did some tests, this, that, and the other. We found, hey, we like it. We kept it. Now, StreamYard is our social media. It's a web-based software that allows us to communicate with Facebook and YouTube, and we could essentially, if we had the internet availability and bandwidth, we could connect to 10 places at once.
Yes.
So yeah, we decided to go with them, and we've gone with them ever since. So that's how we got to where we are now, in a nutshell. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Well, there's one thing I did want to mention. Originally, this was supposed to be a monthly thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
And now we're going to this. So
if I remember correctly, the monthly platform that we talked about quickly evaporated when we decided to do them live, right?
Originally it was going to be a podcast, and then I don't have the time to sit down and edit audio, and you don't have the time to sit down and edit audio, and we don't have the funds to sit down and pay somebody to edit our audio. So we just decided we'll do it live. So here we are. So one thing that people have been asking for forever is why we use nicknames.
Yeah.
So
the original reason went back all the way to the first episode and kind of just morphed into this.
Right. So it was and while I appreciate it, Vinny, the song already has our permanent nicknames stuck in there. The intro. We're not asking somebody to rewrite the intro. So until I die, it is GCB, because that also was Jason's thing for me when we first met each other. He was, oh man, there goes old GCB TCB. So it's kind of stuck. But we went with nicknames for anonymity's sake. Granted, well, y'all know who we are now. You know our full names.
Yeah.
All that. At first, we really didn't want, when we were stepping out, we didn't want to get doxxed. There were a lot of people getting doxxed at the time. So we were trying to keep it as be out there, but not be, suddenly on Twitter, all that information out there. Because you have to remember, that was right in the height of all the George Floyd incidents and stuff like that. So we were.
At first, it was to protect our identities, and I can't exactly. I think it was around the time we went to Facebook that people who already knew our names were calling us that in the chat, and then people quickly figured out what our real names were, and it kind of just was like we got used to calling each other our nicknames, so it just kind of kept sticking.
Right. So we just kind of keep doing it. So while you have that up, shooting yellow 200 stars, so I could put this comment here. Great video, GCB. Camera angle and quality are much improved. Thank you. And that's because we purchased a new lighting system, lighting and microphone system. By the way, Moose, I have your set with me.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You don't
Uh,
go anywhere.
I kept it with you on purpose.
Right. And we left one up there for the executive director. But yeah, I'm using it to make it a little bit better. Hey, we actually have somebody who's answered the question correctly. Moose's first nickname was Mr. Producer, because he produces the show. Now I give him a little bit of crap and heckle him, but I do that anyway. Whenever a graphic's not ready or something like that, we do kind of. I mean, we can co-produce if I have to. Sometimes he'll be in the middle of trying to check statistics or check to make sure everything's going good, and I can bring up and poke. And Matt's learned some of the producing stuff as well. So we're able to fill in, but he is the main most producer, and that's where his nickname producer came from. His nickname Moose came from, we're not going to tell you. That has been a long running secret and kind of a gag on here. If you make
really took a life of its own.
If you make a donation of any monetary value over $200, because that's what Robert Juleson from the Alabama division made in order for us to buy this lighting. If you make any monetary donation over that, and you can show me where you have sent it, for us to be able to offset some of our costs, I'll tell you how he got his nickname in private. But that's one of our things we're saving for the very last show.
To talk about it, I was called either the producer or producer, and I thought that was going to be my name for the whole show. And Moose was just supposed to last a couple episodes. It wasn't supposed to be my new name. It was just.
Oh no! You remember the day I started calling you Moose.
And you thought it was going to last forever. I thought we were going to have it done by the end of season 2, and I was going to hear it again.
No. One of the things when I started calling him Moose originally, I was stuck at WORK, and I called for and pulled up a bunch of Moose facts. Began reading them, and it just matched up with Harrison.
It matched my personality perfectly.
So we did that, and it kind of stuck.
Jack, would you talk about what the last episode of SCV Chat will look like? The show I'm not going to say what we're planning. I'm just saying we don't know when this is going to end, but like the old saying says, all good things do come to an end. And we like to think this is a good thing, so naturally one day it will end. And we've talked about behind the scenes. Like Moose, I will not reveal any of the secrets, but I mean, has been talked about.
Eventually, if the plug is ever pulled on this, we're going to go out in style.
Leave it like that.
So, and once we're done, we're done. But we hope that's at least 50 years down the road, and we've got SCV its own daily media programming. So that's the nickname thing. No Kumar in the elevator started as a joke on Harrison's scholastic career.
Candyman, I think everybody is familiar on how Candyman got his nickname. He just saw the Candyman song. What'd you say?
You want me to tell that story, or you want to?
You can, because you're better at telling these stories than I am.
So this past year at Oratory in Kenner, Louisiana, Chuck McMichael and the Oratory Committee, which really we meet annually for the Oratory contest, and they allow us to have a national reunion. His words, not mine. Anyway, while the judges are debating, they have some type of comedic shtick that goes in between the in between that and the announcement. So this year, they decided they would dust off one from 2015 where that you had to get up there and do a dramatic reading of some song lyrics. And Matt had to do the Candyman. We've got a video of it somewhere. I think it's on the page. Yeah, I hope it's on the page.
It's on the page. I used to have it saved down here. I think that's on Look Around. Let me see if I can work some magic.
Well, don't worry about it too much. They can go and rewatch that. But it's pretty good. So that's how he got his nickname. So digressing to No Fumar in the elevator. We were riding the elevator in Florida, and Harrison was talking about how he was not doing great in Spanish.
My own professors told me I should drop out. That's how bad I was doing.
And I'm like, well, Harrison, I can teach you a sentence, which I speak pretty good Spanish myself. I took Spanish in high school for 2 years, and then again on the collegiate level. Anyway, we were now I was telling him, you know, I can teach you a couple phrases and stuff like that. And right in front of Moose, like he's standing right in front of it, is this plaque with the no smoking signal on it, or symbol on it. The words in English, no smoking in the elevator, and then in Spanish, no fumar in the elevator. So I said to Harrison, well, the first phrase I'm going to teach you is no fumar in the elevator, or in el elevator. And he goes, what does that mean? What do you mean? It means no smoking in the elevator. Oh, man, that's good. How'd you know that? I said, Harrison, I point out the sign. It's right in front of you. And it's like the light bulb, like it took a second. I could see the hamster, you know, running on the wheel and everything like that.
That hamster was dying in that Spanish class.
Then it hit him. And it just kind of became our running thing for the weekend. Well, hey, no fumar in the elevator. Oh, don't worry, I'm not fumaring in the elevator. You know, that sort of thing. So
it got on the show mainly because I think a small argument happened on how we were going to end the show, like what we were going to say, because we came up with, you know, hey guys, it's Monday at 7:00, and that was before we added, you know, what it is. That just made it sound a bit more to it. And we got in a mini argument that first episode of us just doing something. And then you just said, we're going to do it live. And you ended the show with no fumar. And you looked at me and did.
Right. Right. That was before I had control. We were originally using Zoom.
Oh, that was a nightmare.
Podcast with. I forgot about that.
I was a lot more of a producer then because I was the only one that knew how to do anything. So I got pretty bad sick on one episode and still had to be behind the scenes because I was the only one able to produce those. And so thank the good Lord we moved StreamYard.
Yeah, no doubt. But you know, it was just one of those spur of the moments. Screw it, we're up. No fumar in the elevator.
And yeah, he did that. We ended it.
After
then it became a running joke. Yeah.
What?
I said then it became a running joke on how quick everybody could say no.
Yeah, now it's just tradition.
Oh yeah, now we have to.
I mean, just like you know, Santa Claus. I think Santa Claus started out as a joke, you know, and now it's tradition. And then let me think. We added Rudder Frop because of Carl. Jones, who's in the chat now, dealing with, and Carl has a lot to do with some of the things that we have, on here. That's why, the Cross Spatula Award is the Cross Spatula Award because of Carl.
Yeah.
And the Holy Southern Royal Imperial Spatula Cavalry Corps is the reason why we have the Cross Spatula Award. Did I? No, I did not. I did like this. Anyway. So Rare Frop came from him. Carl also helps us line up some of our expert guests. He helps us line up the son of Harold Philpott. Weirdly enough, he did not help us with. He helped us with Ron Walters out of Texas, who was on our first constitutional episode. And I could see his face. Tommy Daniels for our Southern Music episode. How did it's Harold, not Herbert. Okay, Jack, you're now Grasshopper. Our cousin Vinny's nickname comes from the hit movie starring Joe Pesci, My Cousin Vinny, where the guy from New York has to come down to Alabama and try a murder case. That movie was called My Cousin Vinny. We started calling him Cousin Vinny because of it. Kind of stuck. His name's Vincent.
We didn't know his name at first. Me and Cousin Vinny met before the show even started on Instagram. And I think I promoted it one day. And this was the very first episode. And he went by a username. And I can't remember the username right now. But it didn't have his name in it.
It's the same one that he's on Instagram with Latino Reb.
Yeah, yeah. And I said,
because at first we thought he was a troll.
Yeah. First we thought he was a troll because of the name, and Cousin Vinny was. I think you were messing with us too, and I can't remember. But we were like, "Who is this guy?" And you texted me after the show and said, "Hey, that was me. Great show. Really enjoyed it." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's Vinny." And so I told everybody the next day, and so it became Cousin Vinny is in the chat.
Yeah, it just became that. I remember sitting at 10 o'clock here in Mississippi, trying to go to sleep, and I get a call from Commander Chief McClooney, and Larry and I are really close, and I knew he was in South Carolina, and I'm thinking, okay, it's 10 o'clock here, it's 11 o'clock there, he's in South Carolina, something major's happened, and we're going to have to break news and this, that, and the other, and anyway, I answered, and he said, "Hey, bud, you awake?" "Not really, what's up?" "You'll never guess who I'm talking to." I said, "Somebody from South Carolina who's pissed off about the chat." "No, quite the difference. Cousin Vinny." So that's we got to talk to.
That's the first time the rest of the crew saw Cousin Vinny, right? Because I didn't take a picture of his Instagram and send it to y'all.
Yeah, Adam wasn't there and Matt wasn't there, but J-Bo and Larry were. Mm-hmm. So there's that. Harold Philpott was a great guy. Just to go back, and we remember and honored Harold as much as we can and his son.
Yeah.
Let me think.
They worked hard for this, or one did and one still does work hard for this organization.
Yeah, Harold did, and son of Harold does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're from.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah. Best door-to-door piano salesman I've ever seen in my life.
The fact that he made a living with that states that as wow.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard, especially in today's age, traveling around, pulling a piano, demonstrating it, and then, not getting a sale. Um, Especially Amazon, everything like that. So really quickly, let's talk about the show's format because this is something else that we often get hounded on. Uh, Part of our thing was we wanted to be serious when we need to be serious, and we wanted to joke and have a good time when it was time to joke and have a good time. There's a verse out of Ecclesiastes that is, to everything there's a season. Um, when it's time for us to be serious, we'll be serious. When there's a time for us to joke and show that we're not a bunch of stuffy guys in shirts and ties, we can make fun of ourselves. We can make fun of each other, and have a good time as compatriots. That's what we try to do here. We balance entertainment with information as best as possible. Sometimes we can get up. Sometimes the information portion of it can overwhelm, and sometimes the entertainment portion can overwhelm. We try to balance it about 50-50. Our big thing on it is recruiting, but more than that, retention. Give the membership of the organization something they can look forward to every single week, as well as their camp meetings or twice a week, excuse me, and their camp meetings every month. Look Around the Confederation was born with Matt. He came up with the idea of it. That was his. He wanted to do it to where, and originally we wanted to do it. We wanted to do it on this show as well. However, we just ran out of our 1 hour time slot of highlighting what the Confederation was doing. There's so many camps doing great things, and he decided to take that show on. Moose volunteered to help and produce for a little while, but he morphed into co-host with that. We have since moved on to YouTube because that's fantastic. That's another way for us to get viewers, as well as for those who are not on Facebook and other social media, they can watch there. But also, it automatically archives videos, so Moose doesn't
Yes.
have that.
Yep.
We've got TikTok, which
Yes.
is a type of clock app, I believe.
And got Instagram.
Something with viral dances, and Moose is supposed to be doing the latest one where he needs a sentimental man or woman to pump him up. You gonna do that one, Moose?
That caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie.
Make sure it's at 39 minutes and 20 seconds. So a little bit before that. So let's say 39:15.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and get that for the gag reel.
Yes. So we do have a gag reel every year with our Christmas episode. We do a Christmas episode when we end the seasons, things of that nature. One thing that we do have a little bit, and that's our apologies on this. Sometimes we will schedule a show, but I'm a full-time employee. He's a full-time student. Matt is a full-time employee at headquarters, as well as being active in his community, trying to get the good name of the SCV out there. And sometimes we overbook and overextend ourselves, and we don't realize it until the very last second that, hey, we can't do this. We can't do the show. I'll try to be on as much as possible, just like Moose does. But there are times, like in October, there'll be.
You can do last week.
You say again?
I said you can do Thursday because I wasn't able to do it Thursday, and I couldn't do it Friday like I thought I was going to be able to.
Right, and just like Christopher Rice said, sometimes life happens.
Yes.
Thursday, in like I was saying, in February and October, there are weeks in there y'all aren't going to see me because of my work schedule.
Yeah.
This past Monday, y'all couldn't see me. I was behind the scenes, getting everything set up for the show, but I didn't get to leave my office until 9 o'clock. So sometimes life happens.
Yeah.
However, if anybody would like to volunteer and step up, like somebody like, oh, I don't know, the commander of the Alamo City Guard Camp, Christian. If you would like to add in another show, just so we make sure that we're getting everything set up Christianly, we would really like you to have a show Christianly, to highlight everything going on in the ATM Christianly, with your point of view as well as your sci-fi interest in B movie film stuff Christianly, that you're all interested in. It'll give us another perspective Christianly for us to have on the show Christianly.
I love how like we said his name so much, he popped back up in the chat like, "Hello."
Yes.
It's like Christian Lee's Beetlejuice.
Speak his name and he shall appear Christianly. Make sure you mark that down in the gag reel.
This is already getting marked.
So that's that. I hope this really helps everybody understand a little bit more about us, about what we're going through, what happens. I guess we could tell you on an average week, like next week, what we're planning on doing. So right now, Moose and I are reading a book that is literally right off the press, written by our commander-in-chief about General Beauregard. I'm about 3 chapters into it. Moose is somewhere looking at the title page and looking for pictures. But that's just, we start now at the end of this show prepping for next week. So I'll finish the book and have different flagged areas that I want to ask questions on. Moose will try to ask some questions as well. And then Moose starts getting ready for any type of promotional graphics or anything like that. We create those graphics through Canva that I pay $12.99 a month for. And then Moose. Okay, Moose has died on us, but he'll be back shortly, I'm sure. We will get to that just here in a second, Miss Linda. When Moose gets back. So we start prepping for that. Thursday, after a look around, Moose starts scheduling the shows for the next week. We, if it's a guest that we've never had on before, we usually test to make sure that they can get on and get on correctly, that there's no hiccups on their end, things of that nature. Then we persevere and try to get through, make sure everything's set. Moose and I usually talk about 1 hour a week. It may not be a consecutive hour, but it'll be, we will go and deal with that. Carl Jones, who you're referring to, is our expert guest, Thomas Franklin. He's our expert guest. He's Thomas Franklin. One thing we do want to mention is that Thomas is a little peeved at us right now because it just so happens every time that he's supposed to be on the show, it happens to be when Larry and Jason get on as well. And that first, he still has flashbacks from that first time. But yeah, he's just our expert guest.
I thought I was going to get away for at least one episode with my computer not crashing in the middle of it.
Okay. So yeah, we talk about what, if you add it together, it's about 1 hour of SCV chat business, and during that we're talking about future programming on the show, what we're going to have this week, try to make everything line up, match up, and work, and so that we can at least do the research that we need to do, or have an expert on who can talk about what we're talking about that week.
Yeah.
We are at the 45-minute mark, so we're going to take a quick commercial break. We missed our Pop-Tart break. I guess that's what happens when I go back into the old studio. Moose, I'm going to pick the commercial because I know which one you will pick, and I will throw something at you.
I don't have it up there.
Really quickly, our commercials, of course, are sponsored by the Make Dixie Great Again campaign. Visit MakeDixieGreatAgain.com to learn more about the Confederate Legion. If you are not a part of the Confederate Legion, you need to be. Anybody can join it. UDC, SCV, Friends of the SCV. Anybody, if you are sick and tired of seeing American history, which is Southern history, which is Confederate history, being eradicated, it's time to take your stand for Dixie's land and make Dixie great again. Yeah.
When my mother was in college, she danced with Confederate veterans. To me, it wasn't that far away. My father knew this. My mother knew this. Almost 50 years ago, I joined the Sons of Confederate Veterans. In those days, we weren't concerned about saving monuments or any of those things. That wasn't necessary. In fact, none of us had any remote idea that it would ever come up. We can't just sit there and react. We have to be proactive. Or, as Robert E. Lee said, the best way to disrupt your enemy's plans is to strike first. Everyone should do all in his power to collect and disseminate the truth, in the hope that it may find a place in history and descend to posterity. History is not the relation of campaigns and battles and generals or other individuals, but that which shows the principles for which the South contended and which justified her struggle for those principles. If you're looking for some place to be where you think you're going to accomplish something to save our history, go to the Sons of Confederate Veterans. I'm Thomas Lee Jesse. I'm a descendant of Private Daughtery Gilmer, a Confederate veteran.
Hello. Connor has been engulfed by the darkness. He'll be back in a minute.
Let the dark for you.
No, it was you.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to upload some of the pictures from the red carpet event as well as the National Confederate Memorial Service at Elm Springs, and I sadly do not have any pictures from the awards dinner that I could upload really quickly. Moose, you may have some as we're going through these.
Yeah, let me. I got the group picture and a couple others, I think.
So we'll really quickly, while Moose is uploading that, go through, start at the beginning. So we left out of Mississippi on Thursday evening and drove up to Columbia. When we got there, we were pretty exhausted, went to sleep, woke up, showered, got ready, all that fun stuff. Moose and I immediately upon getting up, we went over to headquarters, and while at headquarters, we were putting together and testing our new equipment, and then one of the headquarters staff says, "Hey, y'all are strong young men, come help us." And we got helped. We got volunteered for helping moving blankets and putting up moving benches and things like that for Saturday. When we completed those tasks, we did a quick sound test of the microphones and the lovely lighting system that we have, and we prepared for the red carpet. Linda, that was filmed in Vicksburg, Mississippi at the Bear House, if you're talking about the Faces ad with Thomas Jesse as Robert E. Lee. Exactly, John. There's always some type of light. Anyway, so we get dressed and we head out there and we start broadcasting. Here's a picture of me and my twin. He's really getting a lot older looking than I am. Here's a picture of me and the Commander-in-Chief with him on the red carpet. Here's the beautiful new backdrop for pictures and stuff that's at headquarters. It's got the national logo as well as the historic, museum logo. Here's a picture of me and Matt. Harrison was behind the scenes a lot during the show. This is a picture of Don Adam Corleone Southern. All he is missing is a cat, and we'd be wondering, he would be asking, while we're asking somebody to do something the day of his daughter's wedding. This is again me and Matt highlighting some of the things we have at the museum. You can see our brand new lighting things that we have. Let me see what else we've got. This is me, my mother, and sister, or at least part of my mother. That really makes me look vain because they're cut out. And of course, there's your three goofballs. Matt actually left the hospital and drove all the way back in his tux to make sure that he was there for that evening and not letting us do it without him.
Real quick, time out for that. I just want to thank Candyman because that is true dedication if I've ever seen one. Because he wasn't in the hospital to visit. He was. It was serious there for a bit, and so for him to do that, for the cause, for us, and for everybody there at the museum, let's just all take a moment to thank the Candyman, and strive to do that.
Yeah. Let me think. While we were there, we got a little bit of an ovation for covering it, the red carpet that is. Happy to do so. Then premiered the Forest DVD, which is available at the SCV gift shop, scv.org/shop. I think is the URL. If not, just go to scv.org and you'll see the gift basket or buggy up in the one of those corners, and get you a copy of it. Well worth it. Very, very, very well worth it. Also got my SCV cufflinks that night, but I don't know if there's. So we returned back to our hotel lodgings for the evening. Moose went out on the gazebo. I ordered pizza.
Poor man.
Yeah. Heavy hors d'oeuvres were not heavy enough. About the ladies that made them, they were some bomb fire little things. It's just I didn't want to completely gorge myself. Woke up the next morning and it was a dreary, overcast morning to say the least.
Do you want to tell them what we wore?
Yeah. Oh, they'll see in a second. So last year, pilgrimage, it was hot. It was hot. I sweated a lot. It was hot. So we decided that, well, if it's going to be hot, we're going to be like Southern gentlemen and wear seersucker. I think it got up to 67 as the high that day.
The majority of the program was in the 50s.
Yeah, it was cold and dreary and misty, and it was cold. It wasn't freezing cold, but it was like
cold enough.
A cool spring day. Nothing more we could say about it. The speakers did great. You can go back and rewatch our videos that are on the Facebook and YouTube. You could see the different angles we were able to get in for the first time ever, but it was wet and cool and everything like that. When the service concluded and we packed up our gear, I went back. My sister, my mother, and I. We went to lunch. I don't remember where exactly. I think we went and had Mexican. I think we went to Mexican. came back to the room. I took a nap. My sister began constructing the awards for that evening that were not constructed at that time, including finishing up the cross spatula award. The at roughly about 4 o'clock, I went over and finished making the moose chalices. Harrison, what were you doing at that time?
I was going to go see some of my ancestors' graves and some markers where they used to be buried, a couple monuments, and me and my father spend a good bit of our free time at these events looking for our ancestors in cemeteries. We actually were trying our hardest to find one that was accidentally buried in a Union cemetery, and he was the only Confederate buried there. And we spent a good 4, I think, maybe even a bit longer, trying to find this gentleman. And we walked that whole cemetery. We could not find him, sadly. Dad is great at research and is going back to the drawing board on trying to find him.
So we did that, and then we went to Catfish Campus.
Okay.
Had a lovely meal, and again, thank you to the wonderful wait staff there for accommodating us. We did have people looking at us like we were crazy when we were. Oh, let me backtrack for a second. I don't have the picture up on up here, but this year we presented a wreath on behalf of the chat heads.
Oh, wait 1 second. I have it.
Okay. I did the one for the Mississippi Division SCV, and I had Harrison present the one for the chat heads.
My picture that I got for this looks goofy, and I'll explain why it looks goofy in a minute. I got to mute myself to put this picture up, so 1 second.
While he's doing that, I'll go ahead and say we had these cards that were about this big that you had to put, your name and who you're presenting the wreath or floral tribute on behalf of, and I put Harrison G. Dawes on behalf of SCV Chat and all the chat heads. So I get called. And I turned him in at the same time, and I was expecting us to present it about the same time because I was going to try to trip you on our way, but that clearly failed. So let me know when you get the picture ready. See his goofy grin? Let him explain why he's grinning like that.
All right, so I got a lot of crap about this because my father was like, I've gotten pictures of everybody, and all of them are serious, and all of them are, looking like they're doing business, like you should.
Very stoic.
Very stoic, taking a minute to remember our ancestors and the lives lost during the war. Okay, in my defense, I started to laugh because I asked Connor, I said, are you going to use my real name or are you going to use Moose? Because if you do Moose, I'm going to go up there grinning, trying not to laugh. And he said, no, I put your real name down. And I said, okay, great. More serious occasion, call it for it.
Professional.
We're going to be professional for once here at SCV Chat. And please note, it's dead quiet. Everybody's taking the time, to sit there and remember. And I start walking.
There's a light mist falling on the ground.
Yes, there's a light mist falling on the ground.
Jason Boasters just finished reading this beautiful poem presented from the Kentucky Division along with their flowers. People are tearing up.
Yeah. And I start to walk, and I'm shivering a bit. I'm cold. And all of a sudden, I hear a moose chant start from the back of the crowd.
It was not.
And it actually wasn't GCB. It was a couple of our chat heads who were in attendance start chanting moose. And it started off like they do in the, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It started out quiet, and then it rose.
Moose. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like and like 10, 12 people started doing it. And since everybody else was quiet, it sounded like everybody was doing it. And so I started busting out laughing. And before that, I had, serious face. I'm doing something serious, doing something to honor my ancestors and everybody else's ancestors on behalf of the show. And I take that very seriously. I love my work on the show. And yeah, they start chanting moose. I remember turning around, looking at Connor and just looking at him and mouthing the words, "I hate you." And then I started laughing.
It was not intended.
I started laughing. And so that's the stupid and of course, the one picture I have from that whole day, other than the one I took with my father and the one I took with you, that's the only picture I have to remember this day. And so they caught me as soon as I turned around from looking at the crowd and just got done mouthing to Connor, and I started laughing. And so that's what happened there.
Don't worry, you'll have plenty of occasions to represent SCV Chat with the official SCV Chat wreath.
Yes. And so that was not my brightest moment. I think I apologized to Jabo for laughing. And
right.
I think Jabo said he was trying his best not to laugh too.
Yeah, and it completely took us off guard.
Off guard.
We did not plan that whatsoever. It just kind of happened. Anyway, so we get to Catfish Campus. Again, thank you to the staff there. And we begin our supper and awards. And it's great fellowship, great time. And we give out awards annually to thank those who have helped us and done great in the past year. So, Moose, if you could bring up your pictures on that, I can kind of put them into context.
All right. So here is the first picture.
So that is, well, let's save that one for last, because that's our distinguished award.
Okay, so here's another one then.
So this year we initiated a couple of new awards. Our first award was the Moose Chalice, or Chalices. They were awarded to Kevin Winthrop of the Tennessee Division and Daddy Moose. It is a glass chalice with a moose affixed to it, a chalice moose, a Liberace style moose affixed to it. Has Ford used it yet?
You're gonna have to ask my father on that one.
Or
I believe he took it to class.
So yeah, those are the moose chalices. Because it was the inaugural, we gave out 2, but there'll only be 1 from here on out.
Yeah. And sadly, I don't think I have any other pictures for the rest of the night. I do have the group photo.
So as you can see, we've got the group photo with us. We'll start with we've already talked about the moose chalices. Miss Kayla there in the center with the tiara and home on her plaque. She won the Hearth and Home Award for everything that she does up at headquarters. When we got up there Thursday, she was out in the garden, tending the garden. She and Elbow, Linda Boshears, did all the refreshments and stuff there for the evening. Miss Kayla does not get enough thanks. So she got the Hearth and Home Award, which is a plaque and a tiara because she's the real queen of Elm Springs. And during part of the ceremony, one of the award winners asked if he would trade awards with her. And she looked at him dead serious and said, "No, you're not getting my crown."
It was a very scary moment for all of us.
It really was. And he learned a valuable lesson. Lieutenant Commander Chief Jason Boshears received the inaugural Harold Philpott Guest of the Year award, which is a silver platter with some type of figurine affixed to it. This year, it was a T-Rex because he's T-Rex.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I I just love how you were like, it's because he's a T-Rex, and it shot right back.
The legend, Paul Graham Jr., got the inaugural Ritter Frop medallion. And pull down the picture for a second, Moose, and we're going to bring it back up.
I think I know what you're about to do.
So at the national or at the reinterment for General Forrest, Paul is known for his shoes. And
he's the great player of the SCV. He styles and profiles.
He does. He is the GQ. He is the gent. Anyway, he had a blowout in one of his shoes during the service, and the tongue was the bottom or the sole of it was just a fropping like that. And we figured if anybody deserved to get a Frop award, he read her Frop that day, so we gave him the Frop medallion. What's Carl say? Wonderful friends in that photo. SCV Chad is one of the best things to come along my 18 years at SCV. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
Bring the picture back up, please, Mr. Moose.
Vinny, you deserve that helmet, my friend.
We're going to get into those in a second. But he didn't miss a step. He was a poppin', but he didn't miss a step.
Let me put the picture back up. Wait a minute.
So you'll see standing beneath me is a special young lady who used to be 12 years older than me, and then we finally caught up at 29. She made all of the awards, from the T-Rex to the Chad Head of the Year award, which, Moose, you should be able to check that picture that the legend sent us and be able to pull it up.
Wait, what?
Check our message between me and Paul. I can't remember if it was on Facebook or if it was via text, but he sent us a picture of the Chad Head of the Year award.
Oh yeah, he did. My bad. I have it saved on my phone. I just didn't put it up. Yeah. My bad.
Anyway, so because she made all of our original awards last year, she made our awards this year. She won our Cross Spatulas Award, which is the highest award somebody can get for their service and supporting of the chat. Carl was the inaugural recipient of that this past year, or last year. Susie got it this year. You can start earning it for next year. And while we're waiting for him to bring the final picture up, we'll try to find that picture that you put up a second ago. Scrolling through. There it is. So Miss Linda Gramling, she won. She is our Chat Head of the Year for 2022. The award consists of two specific items. Let's see. The very first you can see, and you can see how prestigious it is. It's sitting right next to the Commander-in-Chief's Jeff Davis Chalice. The first is some type of headwear for Vinny, who received it the inaugural year. It was a helmet. For Miss Linda, it is a blinged out ball cap. The hat or headwear is to symbolize the fact that the Yankee bullcrap will not enter in your mind. This year, we added to it a pair of goggles so you can see through the Yankee bullcrap. The bow tie is just to make the head, which the other items rest upon, seem dignified as the award itself. But the criteria is for the chat head who supports us the most throughout a year. And Miss Linda, I don't think you've ever missed that. That's something we can't say. We don't think you've ever missed the SCV. Oh, and Paul's Frop there was there. Award was there too. But we don't think you've ever missed an episode of SCV Chat. So we were very honored to give that to you because of your support that you've shown us over the past year.
Yes, man. Thank you.
No doubt. Chathead of the decade.
Yes.
So we then took the group picture and went out to the gazebo, had a couple of cigars, and the guy who was trying to steal the crown eventually got his own crown.
Didn't think you were going to post that one.
Yep, sure was. And then we called it a night.
And we're canceled. It's been real, folks.
So that's a little bit about us. Tonight, of course, is one of our entertainment episodes, one of our silly episodes. We hope that this explains a little bit about our twisted minds and how we operate here on SCV Chat.
Yeah.
Week will be a serious episode with Larry McClooney talking about his new book. It really does in Latin. It really does. What do we got? Yeah, Paul, this has been a silly episode.
Very.
What do we got coming up on Look Around?
This Thursday, we're going to be catching up on all the news, and we got a good bit of it. So I want to thank everybody for sending all this news. And we'll be revealing a special thing that me and Connor have done over here on SCV Chat. We talked about it a bit before the show.
Yeah, I'm letting him reveal that on Thursday.
Yes. In my defense, I think it was after your long work day, so I know you probably weren't in the best mindset. You did green light me on this.
Yeah.
Hence why I will say that the surprise is not a new logo, because in GCB's defense, he was extremely tired when I asked him about that. We will be saving something like that for in the future and special. But we do have something very special, and I think everybody's going to love and understand what it is right off the bat.
Miss Linda, you have something better than a gigo.
You got a hat.
So make sure that if you have Moose, you're slacking on your job. No, not that one. Where'd it go? There we go. Found it at the same time. Remember, if you have anything that you would like to be featured on SCV Chat or Look Around the Confederation, please email scvyouthOutreach@gmail.com. That is S as in sons, C as in Confederate, V as in veterans, youth as in what Moose is, outreach as in we're trying to reach the young at gmail.com. Look Around the Confederation is still on this channel at 7 o'clock Confederate Standard Time. This week it'll be news. Next week it could be something else.
You never really know with the Thursday show, because I never really know.
Never really know with the Monday show. That's why Christian to do his own show with us. Anyway,
yes. Christian Lee.
In all seriousness, next week we will be reviewing the Commander-in-Chief's new book. So be prepared for that. Trying to get a couple other authors on who published something new. And a couple other few little surprises that we have in the works, like the possibility of a SCV Chat field trip and pay-per-view.
Ooh.
I think we'll announce more about that at National Reunion. Speaking of National Reunion is coming up. Get your registrations in. While we will not have a table, we will be roving and rambling and recording people and talking to folks in the breaks like we did last year. So come to SCV National Reunion. Come to the Oratory Contest. A lot of fun.
Oh, wait, no, I got to talk to you about that later. I was about to reveal something a little bit too early.
Yeah, I was about to throw a shoe at you. I can read your mind. But until next week, my friends, no Fumar in the elevator.
No Fumar in the elevator.